Hey guys, what's going on? We just saw Her Private Hell, the first film from Nicholas Winding Refn since 2016's The Neon Demon. So it's been 10 years. I'm going to say right off the bat, I actually enjoyed this. I did enjoy it. I think the thing with him that kind of turned people off, which I totally understand, the pacing is super slow. The stuff seemed really pretentious. And for movies like Drive, which I know Sonny hates when he first saw it, that was the shit for me and other kids. Like back in high school, that was the shit. But even then I was like, oh, this is different, but a little pretentious. And if you've seen Only God Forgives, it's even further. The Neon Demon I've seen once, and it was similar, but I think in terms of like style, this worked for me because all those three movies were pretty much set in the real world. Like they look pretty realistic in terms of just, the scenery and whatever setting. This is very fantastical. And so I think that for me, it's like, for one, I'm kind of used to seeing his slower, kind of more like artsy fartsy stuff. And on top of that, when you remove it from our world in a sense, and you make it like look very kind of artsy, to me, I can kind of just like set in that world and I could just, enjoy it for what it is. Would it be the kind of way I would film something? No, not unless I was doing a parody. But for what it is, I really liked, I think overall, some of the acting performances were a little cheesy. They were in that style, but Sophie Thatcher did great. And Charles Melton, this is the first time I've seen him, I thought he was really good. I don't know, kind of the mystery and the mystique of it is like, I'm still thinking about it. And the cinematography is really good. Like it looked beautiful. It looked great. So I'll save my score for the end. But overall, like I feel like he's still got it. If you know what it is. So, but it's hard because I think fans of his will probably like it or maybe not hate it that much. But if you're not a fan of his, you might not feel that way about it. So that's just how the cookie crumbles.
I mostly agree. I did like it. I think visually the movie does genuinely have a unique style. I think I made a Megalopolis comment during the movie, and I think that's very fitting. It's not quite as cheesy as Megalopolis, but it's definitely like, it's got that like Megalopolis vibe. He's very like fucking like almost cartoony ass visuals sometimes in a good way. Like the movie has like interesting color grading, interesting visuals, like a lot of like really good shots. I'd say where the movie missed me was probably like I would say the emotional part of the movie. Again, like you said, good performances, but like it's just like, I think during the first half of the movie I was really into it. I was like, this is just genuinely like a breath of fresh air. This is cheesy but in a good way. He's doing like stuff that you don't normally see in a lot of movies, and the soundtrack is so bombastic in like 1950s the whole movie, no matter what the scene. I was like, this feels like an intentional choice to do, and I don't know like how parody this is supposed to be.
Same with the outfits of like all like the space gear and everything.
Yeah, the outfits are also really over the top. Again, just visually the movie is just genuinely a treat. Very unique looking. A lot of great shots. I think by the halfway point of the movie, I don't know if it's because like I didn't eat dinner or I was just losing steam, but like I feel like the movie was just kind of losing me. It started to feel more like, I don't want to use the P word, but like it almost felt more like pretension for the sake of pretension, confusion for the sake of confusion. Like I could almost see where the story was going, and then it just kind of got muddled near the end. During the first half of the movie, it's like I could see where this messaging is going with these characters, where the themes are slowly adding up. I thought like, is this a movie inside a movie? But then none of that was just there. The movie kind of just like awkwardly for me fell apart at the end without like, I guess, getting into spoilers. And I was like, okay. And that's just where I left. I am glad I saw it. It is a breath of fresh air to see a unique looking movie after seeing like something like The Odyssey, which is very much not a unique looking movie.
Odyssey.
I don't care. So I mean, I will say this movie was like the first movie I saw after The Odyssey. Breath of fresh air. Glad I saw it. I'm probably gonna wait for the score for the end. That's really where I'm at. If you want to see a visually interesting movie, this is it. It is very visually interesting, great looking movie. For, I don't know how much the budget was, but you could just tell they went, we have this amount of movie, fuck it, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make a unique looking movie. They nailed it. Everything else, good performances. Music was very funny to me. There's a lot of funny scenes in me, not purposely, but that's just an extra to me. There you go.
Visually great. I'll start with the things I like. Visually great. I think the colors were really cool. I really liked the one like nightclub scene where there was like strobing lights from a bunch of different directions.
Yes.
I thought it looked really cool, like the way the like shadows were casted on everybody's face. It kind of built the tension of like, the Leatherman showing up.
To add one more thing, I feel like they intentionally did a performance thing with the acting where they would like change their expression slightly in each line.
'cause, like looking at the dude, like one side she was kind of smirking, but then when it like flashed the other side, it looked like she was like almost looking at him and like disgusted. Like it was
a good scene. Yeah,
it was really cool. Everything else I really didn't like. Almost the opposite of Evan. I thought the beginning was like intentionally confusing just to be confusing to make it like seem really cool. I'm like, oh, you know, what is this mysterious world we're getting into? You don't know what's going on. Oh, are you ready for this like roller coaster we're about to go on? And like that was kind of pissing me off at the beginning of the movie. But then halfway through, I picked up steam because I was like really into Private K's like story. I low-key kind of wish it was just about him and like his story and his relationship with the Leatherman bad guy. But I guess it like, you know, eventually ties into the main story kind of. Again, intentionally confusing, so the ending really didn't make any sense to me. But I really did enjoy that kind of like, I guess, B plot. I thought that was really interesting. I don't know. I don't really have to say, Ivan kind of said, I really didn't like Drive. It kind of gave me the same kind of pretentious, like, I feel like Private K is who Mr. Drive was supposed to be. I feel like where like the guy in Drive was just like not likable, and I guess he was just supposed to be a cool guy. Where like Private K, we didn't really know a lot about him, but he already seemed way more cool than the guy from Drive. So I'll give him that. But yeah, no, I really didn't enjoy this movie. I feel like it probably could have just been an hour if they cut out like all the slow paced stuff, but I guess that's just, you know, his stuff.
That's his style.
Yeah, so
can you at least kind of get what I'm saying though about the whole like taking it and like putting it in like a very weird setting, how that kind of makes it, because with Drive, when I first saw it, again, I liked it when I first saw it, but even then, like in 2013, but even then I was like, okay, this is different. This is not how people really talk and act, and the pacing is weird because the movie is happening like IRL. You know what I mean? He's a real stunt driver for criminals versus this is like, it's so poetic. It's like, okay, I can kind of once I get it, I can kind of switch my viewing experience. Yeah. And in a way, and I hate to make the comparison, but like it is almost Wes Anderson-esque in the sense that Wes Anderson has his style, which at this point I really don't like, and I can't switch that part of my brain and enjoy Wes Anderson film unless it's Bottle Rocket, maybe Phoenician Scheme, maybe Royal Tenenbaums. But like with this, it's like, you know, everyone's kind of acting the same way, delivering lines the same way, but once you can kind of make that switch, it does become, I would say, more enjoyable. And even though things are kind of wacky and it's like, what the fuck does this mean? Why are they like pretending like they're wolves? like yeah, you know, you can kind of just like go with it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And to me that helps me enjoy it more.
I guess I was having issues like, I guess, connecting to the main characters just because you really don't know anything about them, and like, especially towards like the end when it starts getting emotional, it's like I still really don't know anything about this woman or anybody else. So it's hard to like, I guess, like connect with those people and kind of like you said, like kind of switch into that mode. Yeah. I couldn't find it. Again, the Private Case stuff was cool, but maybe that's just because it was very straightforward.
Yeah, well, I think it's because like the Private Case stuff had a more like accessible emotional core. You could connect to that story more because of that, and like because like the main cast were just so like they didn't tell you much, and it was hard to connect to them emotionally because you didn't really know much about them. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because like that's a really like a problem I had by the last time definitely is because like I wasn't really connected to like this story emotionally. I was still enjoying the cool visuals, but that because of that, like the plane didn't land for me. It was a great takeoff, but then it just kind of like crashed into the ocean. Not that dramatic. It was an okay ending, whatever. It's a movie I liked, but I wanted to love, and for a second I thought I was going to love it.
I think Sophie Thatcher did really well with the line she was given. I think that is impressive from like an acting standpoint, and like it does kind of like, you know, at the very end when she lashes out at like her stepmother and then they kind of have this argument, like it was really good, and I do kind of see that parallel with like a lot of like Nicholas's stuff, especially like Oh My God Forgives and even Neon Demon, where it even Drive too to some extent, where it's super slow and things are very quiet, and then boom, like a switch happens and people get really angry, and it's almost like that sticks out so much more because you have these long segments of just like silence or like very kind of just like slow talking and talking that's delivered in a very theatrical way, but then the arguments are like very realistic. At least I felt like there's a lot, I don't know, like style wise, like that, like, even though I didn't know maybe as much about her character or her stepmom or whatever as I would have liked to know. It's like the performance was still driving me, and it was so good that I was still like, okay, I can kind of feel like she's troubled, and all these things that like her stepmom is saying to her when they're arguing about like, oh, you this and he doesn't like you, your dad doesn't like you. All this, it's like, I don't know. Like I was getting the vibes that she had a lot of angst, had a lot of pent up stuff. But I would say overall, out of 10, I'll give it a 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5. You know what? I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's actually the score. I was going to give it a 7 out of 10, which is funny because like I think my view of the movie is definitely more negative than yours, but it's the same score because like it's for me 7 out of 10 is a movie I like, and I like this movie. I didn't love it, and for a second I thought I did, and maybe I should give it a 7.5 then. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think maybe that's what's like disappointing me so much of the movies, because like I feel like if this movie like was, at least to me, slightly more slightly more like focused, I guess, like I really could have like just genuinely went like, oh, this is an 8 out of 10 movie, and this is something like I want to see this director do more. And now I enjoyed it. It was a nice breath of fresh air. That's about it.
That's what the Odyssey will do.
Oh, by the way, we didn't mention it, but like we were the only 3 people in the entire theater. It was our private hell, which is very fun.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it was just
it was your private hell. It was my private like heck, in a sense, for some point, but like I got there. But yeah, so what is it?
I mean, I had a number in my head, and you guys gave it 7.5 and 7, so I almost feel like I have to adjust it. But I think I'm going to stick to my guns and give it a 3. I really did not. I would never watch this movie.
Our first feature film is The Spooky House. I think There's Mystery in Morrowbrooke comes out in October. So like, subscribe, follow for updates, and
That's gonna leave a mark.
Now imagine his brother is missing.
Hello, this is Perez, or this is what do you want?
Hello, Morez.
In order to save him, Morez
Hello, it's Merez.
will have to find the pieces. Assemble the team.
Good evening. My name is Victor Dulga, traveling salesman and connoisseur of anything that can be sold.
Perform the ritual. And survive the...
Stop! You're scaring me! That'll put some hair in your balls.
And this'll take some off.
This is a spooky house. I think there's mystery in Morrowbrooke.
Good luck, fuck.